This country has become more divided than ever before, whereby now the campaign war cry is Buhari had done 8 years, and Bola Ahmed Tinubu should be given opportunity to do another 8 years.
Are you making reference to what Bayo Onanuga said?
Yes, I'm making reference to what Bayo said, what Babangida Aliyu said, and what many others have said. If Buhari's government was a failure, this government of Bola Tinubu in 2 years is a disastrous catastrophe.
You mean it has overshadowed the 8 years?
Of course it has shadowed. It has failed in all ramifications. The country has regressed.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his government, they are treating all of us, Nigerians, as conquered people, and all of us as his spoils of war. We are barely midway into his first term. A term that's full of deceit, a term that is tribalistic, nepotistic, a term that is hardship inflicting, a term that is state capturing, a term that is intolerant, a term that is not inclusive. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is using agents of state to stifle any dissent. We're talking about a president who was an ADECO activist himself, who ran across the border and ran away from the military because he was criticizing them, who never gave Obasanjo time to sleep, who never gave, even Buhari was criticizing them, and he cannot stand criticism. Criticizing a government in a democracy is a constitutional right of every citizen, and we're going to continue.
Look at the appointment of this government in central bank, in security, in everything. What crazy! Even those from the southwest of the country are complaining. What is happening to him? Has he forgotten that he's the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? Not of Oduduwa Republic? Okay, what does he get?
Well, officially there is no Oduduwa Republic, right?
No. There is no, well, I mean, people talk about it in euphemism, for the kind of, thing. But I mean, can't people around him tell him that is wrong? When Buhari started something like that, we came to the television, we told him, we spoke to him, we sent emissaries to him. But this is far worse than we have seen throughout the history of this country. Now, once you do this kind of thing, other people don't trust you. And then they will say, okay, what kind of person he is, right? This is one. When you took this trillions, when health sector is suffering, education is suffering, you are building a coastal road, in a company without due process, and people complain, and you did nothing. I can go on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so many things that this government has done to lose trust and the confidence the citizens, can have on, in their government. So let me just make this point. You see, what is important in citizen-government relationship is trust. Once you lose it, there is nothing else you can achieve. Yes, you have the power to kill, to arrest, to harass, to do anything, but you are only going to be there for a period of time. Even if you want to kill, you can only kill a certain number of people for some time. And the more you do, the more the anger that is collected, and it will burst out. It has happened in Peru, it has happened in Argentina, it has happened in Iran, it has happened in so many other countries. Can't you see the history of the world? No. If you go back, in fact, from the American Revolution, 1776, the French Revolution, 1789, the other revolutions that have taken place, you should have lessons to know. What this government needs to do is to stop, to remove the sycophants around that are telling them that this government is doing well. This government is not doing well.
Do you think there is a gang up against the Tinubu administration?
There is a gang up. There is a gang up against everybody, including a gang up by government official itself. The fact that the government
Against
the political appointees, the government itself, to gang up against the people and say the people have no right to complain. That is a gang up. You know, it's a dialectical thing. It's a dialectical relationship for every, you know, and government should not be a zero-sum game where, you know, you shouldn't be subjected to scrutiny. No, the government itself is guilty of ganging up against the people by some of its policies that are hurting. Almost everybody in this country is hurting. Every corner, north, south, southwest, northeast, northwest, south, everybody is suffering. You know, it's nobody would say, oh, it's all glory. Maybe a few government officials who are close to power and they don't need to worry with their convoys, the gang of convoys with 20 SUVs, while you and I are struggling to put fuel at close to 1,000 naira in our cars. The ordinary taxi driver in Abuja, in Kaduna, in Sokoto, the farmer who needs just 1 gallon of fuel to power his water pump for irrigation. Right now, let me give you an example. There is a policy of grain import that is hurting farmers terribly. Because as I'm talking to you, a bag of maize is probably less than 40,000 naira. A bag of fertilizer, if available, is in the region of 60,000 naira and above. For God's sake, even if the farms are secure, who will go to farm? At what cost? Yeah, we see an immediate drop in the price of foodstuff, but let's be proactive. What is going to happen in 1 year's time at the end of this season if it happens that everybody relax and say, oh, there is no point in farming because we'll be losing. So, you know, we have to look at the whole system and see, is the government going in the right direction? Let me say it can do much, much better.
We are in a terrible mess where endorsements, contrived endorsements, is the order of the day, not performance of government.
Then where is the missing link? Because you said in 2003, you know, Tinubu ordinarily, of course, they were on different platforms, you know, those days, but then he objected his own kinsman. Now, here we are, 25 years fast forward, it's like the trumpet is more audible from this part of River Niger compared to how he is being endorsed across the Niger. Where is the missing link? What is the problem?
No, you see, I shudder at appearing on national television and be talking about this divide. But to illustrate the point one is making, you have to make references to sordid performance of the government of the day. Look, as of today, minimally, in the South, there are 10 ministers of key ministries, all from the Southwest. There are 3 ministers from the South-South. There are 2 ministers from the Southeast. Why is the balance, even in the South? Why is the balance? To justify the continuity of such an administration. Where is the balance in terms of other key important appointments that this government has done? There is a problem in Nigeria, like many other developing African countries, where ethnicity, corruption, nepotism is almost the order of the day in administration. In Nigeria, we have never had it this bad, where one section of the country or one geopolitical zone out of the 6 geopolitical zones of the country is dominating the economy, the politics, the military, and all aspects of life to the detriment of the 5 other geopolitical zones. And just because the government of the day has important commodity in his hand to purchase people's conscience, we are having a spate of endorsements all over the country. That does not win an election.
You think these endorsements coming from 8th Senate, 9th Senate, and northern governors, you know, APC governors, and all that, is not from the heart?
It might be from the heart, but it doesn't deliver votes. I am assuring you that in many parts of this country, not only the north, people will judge the government based on its performance, not even on its promise, on its performance.
The government doesn't think we have a crisis on our hands. They think we have a challenge to deal with. But there are several reports that indicate that the situation is quite dire. Where do you stand on this?
Right, and to be honest, Abdullah, this is the scary part. That the government does not think there are problems. It clearly tells you it is disconnected from realities of our people. And this is what is really sad about it. If the president doesn't know, or they are not telling him the truth, doesn't he have intelligence agencies all across the country that will come and say, Mr. President, things are not well. There is hunger in the land. And if he's not listening to that, hello, international communities are raising their voices. Medicine Sans Frontier has been screaming this for a long time. They said they are seeing 200% increase in the number of patients they admit, predominantly children with malnutrition, predominantly in the north. They are having to treat them with their mothers on the floor. And there's a report recently published by the Daily Trust that in Kebbi State, Medicine Sans Frontier reported that Medicine Sans Frontier is admitting 400 children every day, severely malnourished children, in their feeding center. That is 2,800 weekly. And in Katsina, that same day that your paper published that in Katsina, the first 6 months of the year, Medicine Sans Frontier reported 652 fatality deaths of children from severe malnutrition. And then your paper again reported a Nigerian Red Cross report that said 5.4 million children in the 9 security challenge states in the north are facing severe malnutrition. And these states are Katsina, Zamfara, Sokoto, Kano, Benue, what is the name? Niger, that place where that governor said they don't have challenges. And the north is 3 states of Borno, Yobe, and Adamawa. Mr. President, who is telling you the truth? If your government or your media minders get nervous and come out with weak rebuttals each time they hear the truth, Mr. President, they are not telling you the truth. The truth is that all is not well. I have been screaming this. There is hunger in the land. I came with that billboard all across. The Vatican recently lent its voice to this, that there is hunger in the land. And the American embassy here in Abuja also brought out a report recently chastising governors that they're not doing the right thing. They're spending most of their money on useless things instead of taking care of their people. The international community is worried. Mr. President, be worried. Your advisors are not telling you the truth, but there is hunger in the land. We see that in hospital. Every waking day of our lives, we see children in hospital. You don't even need to go to hospital. I'm sure, Abdullah, people call you from home. All people are asking for now is money to eat.
I want to assure you something today. I am going to deduct 1 million votes out of Mr. President's votes that he got in 2023. Mark my words. I am going to do it. I'm going to work for it. And by the special grace of God, I'm going to win that. Now, whether somebody says I'm a featherweight, I'm a lightweight, whatever I am, now 2027 is going to determine who is a featherweight. And again, let me tell you, now in 2023, just to tell you the level at which our politics come up today, because of the heavy disenchantment of the people, all people, anybody that you can call of substance in the Zamfara state, were on one side. And Dauda, who has never been in politics except in 2023, was able to secure victory against all of us. Former 4 former governors, how many senators, how many members of representatives, and this is the same type of sentiment that people canvassed at that time, that who is Dauda? Dauda cannot do anything, Dauda is this, Dauda is that. Now, the only election that we were able to win was that of Mr. President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and the courtesy of the message we took to the people that Mr. President promised that he was going to change the reward system of the APC, but because people were not happy with the tail end of Buhari's government, and Mr. President promised us that he was going to kill all the monkeys, that the concept of monkey they walk, baboon they talk, Mr. President was going to eradicate it, only for him to now come and entrench it, institutionalize it, and it becomes the state policy of the APC. So, for avoidance of any doubt, Zamfara state politics has come of age, and the Zamfara state people can be free. The chaff and the grain, when the time comes in 2027, they are going to do justice. And the people of Northwest, in particular, are not going to forget this, this selective thing that Mr. President has done, where, like I told you, if you look at the allocation of Southwest, you look at the offices given to the Southwest and everything, to the disadvantage of the Northwest that cast the votes.
Do you acknowledge any kind of merit in this government, or do you see it purely as financial oppression, or you don't just see any good that is coming out of this government, no matter what? Every time I want to talk about the Tinubu government, I look at how he came in fraudulently, so I can never applaud anything he does. No matter how good. You don't get what I'm saying. You don't see anything good. Listen. A man will not break your door to enter your house because he wants to make your life better. He's coming to steal, nothing else. We know and we saw all that happened. And the fact that there are no repercussions is the reason why we are not moving forward. In the election that Peter Obi defeated Tinubu in Lagos. Okay, Peter Obi defeated Tinubu in Lagos. And Peter Obi had 6 million. And you were blaming those Peter Obi the reason why Tinubu won was because they didn't unite. Yes. Are you claiming that election was not properly conducted and that election was rigged? Yes, it was. Rigged in favor of Peter Obi too? No. Where he won? No. Only rigged because Tinubu won? No. We want to see. Do you understand? Don't take my word for it, Shil. We want to see the results from the polling units. All the polling units in Nigeria, we want to see them on high rev water. That's all. I don't want to know whether Peter won or whether Atiku won or whether Tinubu won. Do you understand? Shebi, you said you won Lagos, this one. Give us the result that people voted for. You have no right to manipulate the result. Whose fault is it? Tinubu was a candidate. He didn't conduct the election. All right. Why blame him? When we are ready to face the truth in this country, some certain people should be behind bars. Nobody. Me, I expected that by now we will have had like 10, 15, 20 people from INEC already prosecuted. It is absurd. It is the height of evil for people to go out on election day with the desire to choose their own leader. You will sit down in your office and use your pen and cancel their pain, their wishes.
Cabal exists in Nigerian presidency till today. Really? It's still under Tinubu government? No. Tinubu has even the most sophisticated cabal. Really? Worse than Buhari. Buhari's cabal was a group of uninformed people with little experiences. That was why they were dipping hand in everything that was available. But Tinubu's cabal is a sophisticated group of people who had been long in power. And they know power. They are also informed. So they are more dangerous than any other cabal that I have ever known and seen. So there is cabal in Tinubu's government, and we need to fear them more because, according to you, they are more dangerous. They are more dangerous because they are more sophisticated. Who are these cabals? Well, they are the gatekeepers of the president. They are found very close within the circumference of power. And usually they don't allow governance to flow. Is that what happens? Yeah. They shield the president. They shield the president from the obvious reality, and they don't allow information to assess the president. And I still corroborate this with what happened during Buhari. There was a time somebody went to see the president to brief him about the situation in the country. And one of the courtiers asked him, what will you be telling the president? He narrated it and he told him, look, my friend, we can't allow you to tell president that thing. What if he collapsed? And so the man was prevented from telling the president. So you can have, you know, a cabal is a group of ambitious people who were also appointed by the same president to help him govern, but they will run his presidency at their own expense and interest. And it's a very complex political architecture, which is more like a zoo. The most unfortunate thing that happened was that shortly after we have taken power, this group of people emerged from nowhere. Let me tell you, when I was campaigning,
they were not politicians at this way. Cabals are not politicians.
They were like bandits who laid an ambush. Immediately when the president was declared winner, I was with him in his office. I went to see him in the evening that very day. I was blocked from going into his house that very day. And this was the same place as at last night of the previous day. I was there till 2 a.m. I was blocked until I had to make calls before I was allowed to go in. Till I was able to make calls to assess Buhari before I was allowed.
So from that day, the cabal had taken over.
Taken over. Those who campaigned for Buhari went celebrating. So they left the president porous. And these people who knew power took over power. And they actually run it to their interests until 8 years.
And these people have amassed a lot of wealth from what you are trying to describe.
Of course. They are very, very wealthy. And Nigerians should expect them.
And they are very powerful.
Of course.
When you were there, you are of the CPC stock.
Of course.
So the CPC cabal were running the Buhari government. But now it looks like the ACN cabal are the one running the Tinubu government.
Good day to our viewers all over the world and welcome back to Local Journal. We've listened to the complaint of these northern elders concerning the current administration and what the current government, the Bola Ahmed Tinubu's government, is doing to the north and to the whole country at large. Honestly, I understand that some of their points makes a whole lot of sense, even though some of the points I don't accept them, owing to the fact that this was the same thing the late President Muhammadu Buhari's government did while he was in power. So they don't have that right to come and accuse this current administration of being biased towards the Yorubas, because when the previous administration were there, when the northern brother was there, he was doing the same thing. He was favoring the north, and the north were getting almost every position in the government, especially the juicy one. So if it's happening under this current administration, of course nobody should complain from the north. And on the aspect of general governance, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not doing fairly well, if we'll be very honest, especially on the fact that he's hell-bent on taxing the poor. Honestly, it's not making any sense that you remove subsidy, promising Nigerians that life is going to be better under the new subsidy regime, or be under the new regime, and yet nobody is seeing any change. The only thing you are fixed on is how to tax Nigerians further again. Does it make any sense? It's not making any sense at all. If you want to tax Nigerians, you need to put the country in order first before taxing Nigerians. But that's not what you're doing. You're putting taxation as a fulcrum of your governance and the only way you can generate income. And it's not making any sense at all. And looking on the aspect of insecurity going on in the country, of course, we know some of these things that are happening in the far north and other parts of the country are sponsored towards the government, especially when a particular section of a country or a particular group of people don't like the government or don't like the person in power. This is how they've been sponsoring this for the time past, and it's going to continue like that. But then I believe that the government has everything it takes to bring down these people to their knees, because of course the previous administration has promised that they are going to reveal the names of these sponsors, but no name had been revealed so far. But doing everything within the ambit of your power and the constitution to ensure that you bring these people and bring this insecurity issue under control, it's something that you need to take very seriously. And on the aspect of the hunger in the land. Of course, there's serious hunger in the land. As much as we accept that the food prices are beginning to come down a bit, the purchasing power is not there for Nigerians, and that's actually because the central government is trying to tax Nigerians out of everything, and that's because there's no money in circulation, there are no jobs, and nothing is working in the country. Of course, you're doing your bit because the country had been like a kind of on total regress when he took over. But I'm not going to exonerate the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu because he supported the previous administration to power. So of course he cannot be excluded from the calamity of the past administration. Of course he's going to take a lion's share of the blame. So of course most of the point these northern leaders have pointed are not far-fetched from the truth. This is what is happening currently under the Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration, and this government needs to sit up. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu needs to sit up if he wants to retain power come 2027. Can you drop what you have to say in the comment section? And if today is your first time to visit our channel, please kindly like, share, and subscribe to our channel.